This is just a quick thought before I retire. I wrote 2 articles and I was going to do a show, but those 2 articles I got involved in. You can find them on Lancescurv X, the 2 latest ones. Anyway, sometimes you'll put something up on social media and it'll auto scroll through the next post, the next video. And this was on YouTube. And so I just let it play. It was playing random videos that I'm subscribed to, different people, which is a lot, but I don't really get on there as a consumer most of the time, only when I'm brushing up on a particular topic. So there was a video a quick video of Charleston White. And when I first heard him, his delivery made me think he was kind of ignorant. But as time went on, as I kept hearing different things that he said, I said, wow, this guy's not a dummy. He's brilliant. Now, I can't say that I can conclusively agree with everything he said, because I know in the past there's things I said, okay, he's just out there. I try to listen to people with different filters, and okay, it's like, all right, I can see where you're coming from because maybe your experiences. But he said something the other day where he was speaking about how some children are beyond doing anything good, right? Like they're throwaways, they're done. Now that was kind of harsh and those weren't his words, but the bottom line, I understood where he was coming from, because he was saying how the grandmothers, the mothers, maybe sometimes the father's gone, maybe he's there, maybe he's nondescript. But you have the mothers, I'm not just blaming the mothers, but they'll say, get away from me. Go on over there, you ain't no good. And the grandmothers, I ain't gonna try to raise children again, get away, I need to live. Basically where these youngsters are rejected, and these are male and female, so he was focusing on the males. And I know the young females, the young ladies would act out different ways to get attention, usually in a sexual, suggestive manner. Not always, but in that way. But with the young men, they never got hugs, for example. He's speaking about these types. They were always put down and made to feel as though they're nothing at all. Forget trying to motivate them to do something or teach them discipline and the rewards of discipline, because they have no examples. The parents want to finger pop and whore around and do different things on an extreme level and coming down to not so much of an extreme level. So then, after he said what he said, and I kind of took a pause and I pondered it, there was another video that came out after a few more videos had come through that were foolish. And there was a couple music videos and I listened to it and reminded me of some things back in the day. But there was this other video of a young lady. She had 3 children, 3 daughters, and she was dancing in front of her phone. She had the phone propped up, angled. She's in front of the camera, in front of the phone, and you can see the living room behind her, and you can clearly see her 3 daughters, because in her profile, she mentioned that she has 3 daughters. So you saw them. And so she had a very, very, very short t-shirt on. I was like, oh my God, if she moves too hard, she'll have no secrets. It was that short and split up the side. She was a little chubby, she was a little heavy, but overall she was an attractive woman. But, speaking about butt, she's dancing, winding up for the camera, which she uploaded because I'm seeing this. I didn't try to find it. When I came back, I went to the bathroom, came back, I'm like, what is going on here? And what caught my eye was that the 3 daughters were sitting on the couch like they were bored. One really had a look of disapproval, like she was embarrassed. And she had her elbow on the armrest of the couch and her fist, her hand on the side of her face and leaning her head on her hand. And she was just like disgusted in a way. Really and truly, you saw it. I was expecting a young girl who was probably like about maybe 11 years old, 12 years old. There was another one that was younger. And I think that 12-year-old was the oldest, maybe like 11, 9, 10, right around in there. But it was 3 of them. They weren't happy. But that one sitting on the couch, Her mentality was very pronounced. She was embarrassed. She was disgusted. She didn't like to see her mother like that, winding up in front of her like that. Of course, mothers and their daughters, sometimes the mother is walking around the house, not naked, but she has something skimpy, but she's not outside. She's not recording a video to go up on YouTube, because these children know what's going on. And I mean, if the classmates of these children, these young girls, see the mother dancing like that, they're going to have some things to say. They might not say anything, but something's going to get back to those young girls. What's the point? You see what I mean? We're showing the children decadence, if not rejection at all. I mean, what happened? Take that same time. I mean, yeah, you can dance and you can do whatever you want inside of your house, still keep it decent. But they know she was dressed like that. If that t-shirt was 1 inch shorter, YouTube would not have allowed it. Put it that way. And she had these big old thighs. And the men are going to look and make the comments, and these kids are going to see it because they know mommy's YouTube page. You see what I mean? So at least those children, by the disgust, it was a very nice living room. I don't know whether it was a house or an apartment, but it was really high-end looking. So I can only imagine. Maybe this mother feels like I have my children living good, so I can do what I want to do. Whatever. But those children, they had another influence. I can tell they did not like the way the mother was carrying on. Now, flashback to what I said about Charleston White and the young men. How they're rejected, they're not held, they're not encouraged, they're not made to feel as though they're worthy. And there's a lot of young men who grow up to be older men, or even still as teenagers, and they get into the gangs where they feel a sense of belonging. They get into all these different things where they're searching to fill that void on the inside. And this is why I thank God. I'm thanking God for my parents. They took the time with me every step of the way. They encouraged me to try different things out. If I didn't like it, they didn't complain. They spent money on guitar lessons, piano lessons. Of course, I excelled in art. I took to that like a duck to water. I had no problem reading, doing things in school. I would be locked up in my room for hours sometime. Of course, the other side of me, I was always with good friends in the neighborhood and the community that we had. And I was always like the life of the party. I'm making people laugh. I got high energy. But I also like to stay in my room, play a little music on my record player, my 45 RPM record player, my little black and white TV that I had. I had privacy. Even my parents would knock on my door before they came in because they knew that they had a good boy, right? But there was so much to explore, and they helped to set the foundation for that. This is why people are like, man, you're always doing something, Lance. You're never discouraged. And for those who may not have had that, there was another end to this too. There were kids in the neighborhood who may not have had it as good as I did. Some did. Good parents. Most of them were good. But my mother always embraced, and my father did too, to encourage those around. And they loved my home. They loved the house, the home. And it was always open. And maybe my mother and father helped to change the lives of other youngsters too. But it was a nurturing experience. It wasn't where, you just have, you have a roof over your head and clothes and food, you better be happy. They really took time with me. So I have to say this other part also. As an adult, you can tell pretty much when you have a gift of discernment or enough discernment, pretty much how a person's childhood was. So in my adult years, and even recently, I've run across those who I befriended or acted nice to, but automatically they didn't like me. They rejected because they could sense something in me that I had that they didn't have. And you dig deeper, you hear things. There's one example of a young man, he's not too young, who always had issues with me. So I don't bother with him at all, right? He doesn't exist, the negative energy. But I found out that growing up, his family really didn't like him. So when I get on these videos and I praise my mother and father and talk about the wonderful childhood that I had, even though I have an older brother, 11 years older than me, who was addicted to drugs, so he wasn't really around. Different age group too, right? There's a resentment. So you have to understand that when you're blessed with something or a solid foundation like a good childhood, there'll be some who come into their older years and will resent you because they can see that fullness inside of you. They can see that love that was poured into you. They can see the confidence that you have because you were built for better things. And you don't have low self-esteem, because I don't. I'm very confident, but I'm not cocky. I'm not self-absorbed. I can see the other points of view from different people. Keep myself humble. I don't think too much of myself, but I do have high self-esteem. I can't apologize for that. You have to go back and find my parents and cuss them out for that. Therefore, I don't carry the insecurities that many of these people carry. So that when they try to tear me down, I'm laughing because I'm like, do you really think you're going to tear me down? You can't do that. So that's how it goes. But also, I was thinking about that aspect, and this is just a rambling thought. But even as a cultural thing, we know back in the day, and I'm going to shut this one down because every time I try to speak, it's all these little other alerts that are coming through. Okay, that was a video I was looking at. Let me go and shut this down. The phone can be quiet, and it's like people have a camera here. Oh, he's talking to the microphone. So what do? I just silence the phone. Okay, that's good. I'll open up the alerts in a little while. But many of us, we had problems in the community. Drug problems, some depression, mental illness, but not like the way it is now, right? But the whole culture, even coming up from the civil rights movement into the 70s, 80s, things started to collapse toward the end of the 80s. With the music and that stuff was engineered to get us to go and idolize drug dealers and pimps and, women, we just have to look at them as sexual objects. But before that, the late 60s, what I can remember the music, even the music from the 50s, that the records were still in my household and my parents played them. So I had the mindset coming up with the love songs and the fun music and the loving music. And really all the music was about love. At worst, it was about a breakup or a heartbreak, but that's life. But it wasn't the decadence that it is now. A great female singer did not have to show her breasts all up in her thighs and shake her butt to be looked at. But this is encouraged because we have video now, and it's about making a sale, and it's decadence. And we've become a people who seek out the decadence. If there's something decent, right, we don't want it. But if it's something decadent, then it's something that we want to see. If I put up here something decent on a relevant level, on an intellectual level, inspirational level, nobody wants to see that. But if somebody put up a video, we saw Lancescurv coming out the hotel 4 o'clock in the morning with these 2 chicks, and I know what he was doing. There'll be all kind of scandal. Get 1 million hits because that's the appetite that people have. But for me, in the household that I grew up in a very musical household because, like I always said, my mother graduated from the Juilliard School of Music. So it wasn't just the music that was on the radio. I was exposed to all different types of cultures and music. And growing up in New York City, you're afforded that because that's the most culturally diverse place in the whole planet. Every language, I think, 800 languages are spoken there through the communities of people that live there. So getting around from young, knowing the place, again, I was exposed to a whole lot. There are people who think I went to college. I didn't go to college. I was exposed hands-on by a mother and father who kept me busy with cultural things that helped me to learn and gain insight in the conversations that they involved me in. They involved me in every conversation. When other folks were around, friends and family members, always deep conversations, and I love it. That's why I'm like this now. But what I also learned in my household and society, the culture had good music back then, but it was always something that was positive. And so there were other songs that were popping up, and I played a musical mix. They made like a playlist for me on YouTube. I didn't pick the songs, but they kind of know what you like, and they can make this thing from songs you play frequent and things that are similar. I don't know how it works. I have no time for that. I'm a content creator. I don't sit here, and I consume certain things. Certain things I like, because I follow bodybuilding and boxing. Those are things from my youth. But other than that, I'm always looking for compelling things. And what hit me in that timeline, one of the songs that really grabbed me, the first one, was Gladys Knight and the Pips. Gladys Knight and the Pips. And I think that song came out, well, they said October of 1973. I thought it was like 71 or something like that. Now, in October of 1973, I was 10 years old. And I used to go like 11 years old, 10 years old. I used to walk up Liberty Avenue in Richmond Hill, Queens, and go to the record shop. And for $1, you can buy a record. I had a serious collection of music. I was a little boy going there and asking for the latest wax. Sometimes it's albums, 33 and a third. And I had a wonderful collection of music, and I would play them all, depending on how I felt. I had all kind of music, right? And I used to play this song by Gladys Knight and the Pips. I've got to use my imagination. And it was those songs. And I remember my mother, she loved that song. She's always bopping her head. She would be doing something around the house. And of course, she could sing any kind of song, but she would hum it and it would make it sound better, or sing it. She had a wonderful gift of being able to listen to a song for a little bit, like a minute, and she can come with an abstract way of singing low key behind it, but it fit perfect. That was her ability, and it was uncanny. So that's what I'm used to, right? So we were always going to her rehearsals, or I'm going to the different job sites with my father. Always something positive, but I always gravitated toward positive songs. And because they exposed me to a lot and encouraged me a lot and gave me time. I mean, there was no spare time like, I want to go out to the bar, or my mother want to go to a friend's house. It was always something that I can come around. So I felt like part of a team, and I absorbed their positivity. But as I heard this song, I said, wow, the words are powerful. So I looked up the lyrics of the song, because some of the lyrics, they're kind of faded. You're just humming the song because of the way it sounds. But this was, I've got to use my imagination. It's on YouTube by Gladys Knight and the Pips. And a few of the words, I really got to use my imagination to think of good reasons to keep on keeping on. And in the background is keep on keeping on. And then she said, got to make the best of a bad situation. Ever since that day, I woke up and found that you were gone. And they were in the background, gone, gone. She says, darkness all around me, blocking out the sun. Old friends call me, but I just don't feel like talking to anyone. Emptiness has found me, and it just won't let me go. I go right on living, but why? I just don't know. And she says, yes, I am. And they say, yeah, you're too strong, got to keep on keeping on. Now, she's singing about a love that left her. I didn't hear that part. I mean, I heard it, but I'm hearing the keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? You're too strong, got to keep on keeping on. And the rest of the song is staring down reality. Don't do me no good. Cause our misunderstanding, it was too well understood. Such a sad, sad season when a good love dies. Not a day goes by when I don't realize. And then the rest of it is, I really got to use my imagination to think of good reasons to keep on keeping on. But it was so positive, the song, to keep on keeping on. No matter what is going on in your life, you got to keep on swinging. And when people have written me off for dead, not literally dead, but there are people who were false in my life, and something happened, maybe a breakup, maybe I lost a job, and they're snickering. Yeah, this will get him. This will get him. Ha ha ha. He's done. He's going to die. and ahead of time, they're like, or what he's doing is going to die. And these narcissistic people who you don't know around you, they reveal their hand, and you're like, no, it's not. I'm built for this. And even if you weren't raised up in a situation like that, like me, you got to have that kind of mindset. Cultivate that. But then this followed me even more so, because back in, I think it was 73 also, they had Eddie Kendricks. Keep on trucking, baby. You got to keep on trucking. Got to get to your good loving. Now they're saying loving, but keeping on trucking. Some of the words there. Let me see. A double shame on me, yeah, love. I let you control me, yeah. I've got a fever rising with desire. It's my love Jones, and I know what that means now, right? And I feel like I'm on fire, but it was like the keep on trucking part. Got to get to your good loving. I'm the Red Ball Express of loving, diesel powered straight to you. I'm trucking. But I didn't understand all the other stuff, Love Jones. And I'm thinking about keep on trucking, keep on going, keep on swinging. And the way it sounded. Man, the way they weren't casting spells over that music the way they're doing now to bring out the decadence and open the pits of hell and let all the damn demons in. Now, one song that brought me through and helped me, and I'm just sharing this with you. This is just me before I go to bed and just talking, right? I'm up very late. Even most of the people I know on the East Coast, they're asleep, people that I can call or voicemail or whatever. When I was training, and I had to give it my all in 1982 because I turned 20 in 1983 in April. So the real amount of contest that a teenager can go into, and I could have went into the open division, those guys were too big, was in 1982 and part of the early part of 83. So I said, before this year goes out, I have got to win something of note. And I did, right? Called the Teenage Mr. America in 1982 in Utica, New York. Now, two other organizations had their own version, but I was the one that was natural, because I was blood tested and lie detector test and urine. So I was 100% natural. And I know one of the guys that I beat that beat me earlier that year, he was on a cycle of gear, they call it steroids, early in the year, but he must have gotten off of it because he wasn't as impressive. And I whipped his behind, and he didn't like it because he saw me. He's like, yeah, we're going to get him because we beat him before. Make a long story short, there's one song that was instrumental in maintaining my enthusiasm, which there were other songs that I liked the way that they sounded, like which wasn't a positive song per se, but Kraftwerk, a song called Numbers, and the other one's Trans Europe Express. Those were hypnotic songs that kept me in the zone when I was riding my bike far distances, going to the gym and training, low calories, but getting just enough food to keep my muscle and lose whatever little body fat I had. It's not easy, y'all. But I trained for many years before that, and I started competing when I was 16 years old in January of 1980 before I turned 17. And I got better and better and better. And there were a lot of folks saying, oh, he's no good. He needs a lot of work. He's not going to get there. But I believed in myself. I basically knew in myself. And I set the goal. And the song that really kept me going was Keep On by D-Train. And it put me in a hypnotic, not a bad hypnotic state, more of a focus, because I never lost my focus during that year. I trained hard. I was focused. I was on point. It was beyond what I thought was capable from myself. I outdid myself. And the way they wrote the words that may not make any sense, but you gotta YouTube these songs, play them, listen to it. But here's a few of the words. Okay, let me jump down to, okay, some of it is, with the strength of your mind, you can be set free. You can overcome your past. Search deep inside and you will see time has come and at last. And the way it sounded with the music, you can make it if you only try. Don't stop reaching till you touch the sky. Life has many ups and downs. Plant your feet on solid ground. And I would ride my bike from Richmond Hill, Queens to, God, what is it? Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn. What part was that again? Oh God, I'm slipping. But one block over was, it was Queens, but one block over was Brooklyn on Myrtle Avenue. And that's not a short way to ride. Then go train, then go turn around and ride the bike again all those miles. And sometimes it was raining, I'd just hop on the train. I wasn't driving then. A lot of times I did go on the train or take my bike on the train to ride back. And we would train and train and train hard and then have that ride and then go for a run after that. Go eat a little bit of fruit and go out by the park, Ajax Park on the other side of the Van Wyck Expressway. It could be 2 a.m. and I'm jogging around it. Then come home and practice my posing, flexing real hard. I know madness. I know discipline from a young age. So this undergirded me for my future, for my life. Even when I went through rough times, in times I had to pull in the belt and sacrifice, I was a tough son of a whatever. Not the B word, because that's not my mother, right? But I'm just saying, train your children up with positivity, undergird them, support them. My parents have transitioned to the next level, but they left a lot of stuff inside of me. And yes, there are times when you do get a little down being human, you're a little tired. You're saying, man, when is this ever going to happen? But whatever you do in your life, never give up. Whatever you do in your life, never stop swinging. Your life force has to be cultivated. You can do it yourself if you didn't have the upbringing, but you can't follow the masses with wanting to hear the gossip and speaking negative about other people. I am a dynamo. I'm not talking bragging or trying to convince myself. I am. If you are the opponent in front of me, you are not going to win. You might even knock me down, but you are not going to win. I'm going to have the last word. And in this life with so much negativity, this is the way you have to think. It's not cockiness. Cockiness doesn't last. My feeling from the inside is not based on the approval of other people. And I'm going to say those lines again. If I play the song after I get off of this, I might not go to bed. Through the strength of your mind, you can be set free. You can overcome your past. Search deep inside and you will see the time has come at last. And the achievements in those days, at that time, and I believe that song came out in 1981 toward the end, but I rocked it all through the year. And it was playing on the radio. See, songs now, they play for a little bit. Oh, nobody's listening. They're not getting good ratings. Take it off. But back in the day, they let you rock with it. And they would mix it in with, late night master mixes, like the club, mixes and stuff. But I really appreciate that music. And there's other songs I could bring up, but these are the ones that just came to mind. And when you see that you've worked hard to achieve something, those principles of never stopping and focusing, right? No matter what, you take a loss, but you keep on coming. And, just like I always use the analogy, the little Toyota car next to the 18-wheeler that stopped at the red light. And then now you have this long stretch of road where there's no stop signs or nothing. And the Toyota pulls off because it's light. Got a little nice engine to it, but it's light, moves off. The 18-wheeler has to go through all the gears and take his time and build up his speed. But that Toyota who left it and thought, I left him back there. All of a sudden they see these flickering lights coming down fast and they're saying, what is that? So, oh man, that miles ago, that's that truck. Now the truck is at top speed and it's heavy and it's coming down on you and there's nothing you can do. And when it passes by you, your little car rocks back and forth because of the wind. Things might be going slow for you, but don't let it bring you down. Because you can always move forward. And it may not always come in a way where it's fast enough for you. But the big part is when people try to tear you down because they're vulnerable. They don't have what it takes. They're insecure. Even when they feign confidence, if you have enough time and energy to put somebody else down or bury them, discourage them, their platform is going to die and all that stuff. I love it. I'm that 18-wheeler, baby. I'm coming. And now I got all the time to pursue the things I want to pursue in righteous isolation, although I still relate and I still go out here and there and we do what we do. But I love it. At this point in my life, it's like Muhammad Ali when he came back the 3.5 years of exile because he didn't want to join the services, and he came back, won the championship again. He wasn't the same fighter, although, because that's something physical, but it shows you about the willpower. Even when he had Parkinson's and didn't know it, he was still winning fights toward the end. I mean, he lost the last 2, but when he came and he got the rematch with Leon Spinks and he won, he should have quit then, but you know, he still was slurring and he was whipping a disease for a while. So go out swinging, never stop. Like they say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So whatever seems so much of a mountain in front of you, something formidable, something impossible, just start chopping that tree. Just start taking those steps. If there's alterations that you have to make, you got to cut back on certain things. I don't know if you're drinking a little bit or going out to the nightclub, and it's not going to do you no good. To me, unless I know what I'm going to do to accomplish in my realm, what's under my umbrella, right? I don't get out of bed. And I don't want to stay in the bed too long, unless I stayed up at night and have to sleep and get my full sleep. Because now I always get my full sleep. Always. If I feel like laying down, I'm going to do it. If I feel like staying up, I'm going to do it. You know, it's just like when you go to the restroom, it's not a set time. Well, every day I go to the restroom at 9 o'clock. Your body dictates. So I'm flowing. And that's where I'm coming from. But one thing, if you're discouraged, take your time, build yourself up. Know that we all have been there, right? Even the most positive of us. But I know the formula, and it's transferable. When you know yourself and you know how to motivate yourself and you know how to pull yourself away and go to that magical place inside of yourself and visualize what it is that you want to accomplish, and you start, number one, don't let people know what you're doing. Keep yourself wired. Only the close, proven inner circle gets to know it. Keep it to yourself and start. And if people want to think that you're defeated, if they think that, yeah, we got him because he must be down now, you know, he's not trying to do, no. I'm going through the gears and I'm not racing you. That's the thing. I don't race people. I don't look to do things to compete with people. But people will try to steal your destiny because they don't like you being you. Sometimes people want to be you and want to crush you so they can be you. Can't happen. There's only one Lancescurv, baby. And there's only one you. And you have to protect yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, he cocky, well, she thinks she all that. Yes, you are all that. Because there ain't nothing else in the universe like you. We walk around apologetic for having some confidence. I'm sorry, I'm not. If you don't have it, be mad. I don't have time to be mad at somebody because they're confident in themselves. I got my own. You see? And when you're righteous, you can acknowledge the greatness in other people. If the other people are righteous, they can acknowledge the greatness inside of you, placed there by God. But you got to know how to activate this thing, because this world will suck it out of you. If you depend on this world to give you the motivation and discipline, see, motivation is fleeting. That's like a jump start. That's like a match that you use to light up the charcoal. You know, you have the lighter fluid, and that's just like a quick thing. But the discipline is keeping that fire going. That's what it is. Hour after hour, minute after minute, day after day, month after month, year after year, you live this because you were put here for this. This is why it's great to find your mission. Find it. Find what it is, large or small, that you want to do and you're put here for. But also, don't push yourself artificially. Let it flow. Set up your life where it's effortless and it flows. But if you're pushing, you're rubbing the gears the wrong way. You will burn out. Your own enthusiasm can burn you out. I'm not saying not to have enthusiasm, but keep it like a fire under control. You don't put your stove to the highest setting or put your stove near the curtains and put the fire. It's going to burn. The very flames that cook your food can burn your house down. So gauge it. Gauge it. But keep the enthusiasm so you can push every day. The main thing is discipline. Because if you don't eat corn, you don't turn around and see corn coming out, if you know what I mean. So discipline yourself, do the things you need to do to keep your heart happy, and play good music. Stop listening to this music that does nothing for you except tear you down. Look, there are some songs, right? I love the beat, oh my God. But the words are decadent. You remember that song by, what was it guy? They were like twins, something twins. And the song was wait till you see my, it was the D word. Wait till you see my, man, that beat drove me crazy, but I don't want to hear that. So I got the instrumental. And in my mind, I made up my own words, right? There's certain beats that just drive, and they do that now in the modern day to pull you into the lyrics, to put this stuff in your mind. Because I saw a little boy walking down the street going to school. He was singing the whisper song. Where do you see my D? Where do you see my D? And he wasn't thinking about it. It just got in his subconscious mind. So the things that slip into our subconscious mind, as far as the children are concerned, like with Charleston White, it helps to flavor their thinking, and they think that they can go no higher than that. Because I always saw myself as a winner, and I still do. And I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve creatively, and in the years to come, for as long as God keeps me here, I have enthusiasm. And I have to say, I've had some wonderful times in my life. But these days of meditation, being still, being peaceful, and not having entities around me that they have this bad energy, oh man, I love it. And I love being with myself. Just like I love being with Mrs. Scurv, and I'm not in America anymore, but my friends, I call each other every day or voicemail each other all day, every day. It's just real life for me, and plenty of memories to feed from of positivity. I just wanted to say that I like doing these sometimes. I said earlier I was going to do a show, but I said, let me throw this up. Still talking, still doing some things. I got to make another banner and some graphics, and I'm going to set up for the Saturday, the Saturday open mic. I welcome you all to come on in, because we're just going to free flow, tell stories, have fun, and we don't know where it's going to go. I have a few points that I talk about in current events, some small things, and then we're just going to zoom off. And if you were there last week, trust me, it was nice, and I want to have it that way again. So anyway, thanks for riding with me. The enthusiasm is high, my spirit is high, my mind is focused, and I'm a little hungry right now, but it's too late to eat. I'm just going to drink a little protein drink or something like that. Anyway, much love to you all. Thank you for coming through. Leave your comments below. And I'm on to the next one after getting a good night's sleep. Peace.